Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope everyone is doing very well. So today's video is, I'm talking a little bit low because I don't want to wake him up. He's right there. So today's video is basically going to be, I'm going to tell you guys my experience, my C-section experience with the NHS and what to expect before, during and after the C-section. So, please don't wake up. Oh God. Okay. So before my C-section, I had a pre-op assessment 3 days before my operation, and I went to the hospital. They just did a little bit of check if I have any allergies, if I checked my teeth, and just to see if I have any problem with my teeth. Apparently they need to know that. If I have any drug allergies, if I react to any drugs, or if I've done an operation before. I haven't, so yeah. And took my blood, tested me for COVID, obviously. What else did they do? Basically, it was a very quick appointment. Just asked me all these questions. They just asked me a few questions, basic health questions, and took my blood. Did a test where they test for bugs. I don't know, but yeah, I never heard that before. That was the first time. So they tested me for bugs. Apparently, if I have bugs, then I will be the last person they operate on, because the bugs can transfer. I don't know what that is. Well, I didn't have bugs, but yeah, they tested me for bugs, and a type of bug, not like just any bed bug or whatever. It's different type of bug that has something to do with the operation. So I didn't have any of that, and then they just went through the risk of C-section, excessive bleeding, hemorrhaging, and they might cut the baby a little bit, risks of, they just go through the risk and what the procedure is going to be like with you. They went through that with me, and then and then I went home, and then they gave me 2 tablets to take. One, because my surgery was supposed to come to the hospital first thing in the morning, so around 7:30. So I had 2 drugs, one to be taken the night before, so around 10 p.m. the night before, and then I'm not supposed to eat anything until 2 a.m. I'm not supposed to eat anything after 2 a.m. and I can drink water from 2 a.m. to 6:30, and then I'm supposed to take the second tablet by 6:30, and afterwards I can't take any fluids again. And then fluids include water, which is the best option, and then I can take any like Lucozade without the fizz. Basically they don't want you to take anything that has calories, I think. So I could take water up to 6:30, and after taking my drug, the last tablet, by 6:30 in the morning of the operation, I can't take anything again. So my C-section was scheduled for when I was 39 weeks and 1 day. So when I went to the hospital on that day, got to the hospital around 7:30, we went to the waiting room, and then they did my blood pressure, they did all the checks they were going to do. So I was literally just waiting. My operation was supposed to be in the afternoon of that day, so basically it was just a waiting game. Basically, in intervals they come to check my blood pressure, check the baby's heart rate, and they put the things on my belly just to monitor the baby and come check my blood pressure and oxygen level and all that normal checks. And they just did that on intervals. And I waited in the hospital until around like 4:30, and then they came to tell me that I can't have my surgery that day because the person who had a C-section before me had complications. So they're running out of time, so they won't be able to fit me into today again. So I had to go home. So they had to send me back home. Oh my god, by then I was already starving because I didn't have anything to eat from 6:30. In fact, I didn't have anything to eat from 10 the night before. So I was starving and I was really excited to meet the baby, but now I was told that I won't be meeting the baby today. So it was a mixture of emotions. I was a little bit nervous as well, but I also wanted to meet the baby. So my emotions were everywhere. I was like, oh my god, I still have one more day. And at the same time, I was like, oh my god, I'm not going to see him today. So it was just a mixture of emotions. But yeah, I had to go home. Obviously, they fed me first because I was starving. And then we had to go home. So, I was told to wear a TED socks, so something to make your blood flow properly, so to prevent blood clots. I was told to wear the socks before coming to the hospital, so I already had socks on before I came to the hospital by 7:30, and I had the socks on throughout the day until they sent me back home and they took the socks off. And then so when I was going home, they gave me the tablets again because I have to do the same thing, because now I have to go home and come back the next day. So I had to do the same thing. So they gave me the tablets again, but this time my operation was going to be the first operation the next day because they couldn't fit me into the afternoon, the slots that I had before. So my operation I was going to be the first person they operated on the next day, which was exciting. So they gave me the tablets again. I had to wear the socks again in the next morning. So that was when I was 39 and 2 days. I had to wear, so I didn't eat anything from 10 p.m. and I took the drug at 10 p.m. as well. And I could have water until 6:30 again. So, and then 6:30 I took the other tablets the following morning. And then I couldn't have any drink or anything. And then I went to the hospital, got to the hospital 7:30 again, and they did the same checks that they did the day before, checked the baby again, and it was confirmed that I was having my surgery that morning. So they went through all the consent form that I signed during my pre-op assessment for giving my consent to for them to carry out the C-section operation. So they went through all the risk again with me quickly, and then they explained to me what was happening, what anesthesia I was going to be given. So I had spinal, and they told me all the things to expect and all the things that I should alert them off. So stuff like if I am feeling, so they're going to give me the anesthesia, and if I am still feeling my legs after a few minutes, then I have to alert them. And if I feel shaky, that's fine. Stuff like that. I will go through that when I get to the during part of this video. So so they just gone through all those things with me, asked me about the things that I'm allergic to as well, and then they've put a band that was red because I'm allergic to chloroquine. Although none of the drugs included chloroquine, but because I was allergic to something, they gave me a red band. If I wasn't allergic to anything, they would have given me a normal white band. So I had a red band. So when they come to check on me and they see the red band, they always ask me, what are you allergic to? And then, like I said, they went through what they're going to do to me during this C-section, and just the risk again, and stuff that I should be aware of, and how I'm feeling, and things to communicate to them if I'm feeling off. So they went through all that with me, and then it was time to go for the operation. So they gave my husband a change of clothes. So he was in the blue, I don't know what's called, surgery wear or whatever, and with the hat and everything. And then he changed, and then I went into the operation room. See, he wasn't allowed into the operation room at first. until after they've given me the spinal and I was already in the operation table. So this part is this is what happened during the C-section operation. So when I got into the operation theater, I was told to sit down on the bed where I was going to be operated on, and then I was told to they put a chair in front of me to raise my leg on top of the chair, and then they gave me a pillow here, and I was told to slouch, like bend like this, like an angry cat is what they described it as. So I did that, and they put the very tiny needle. So in terms of pain, they've put the tiny needle in my spine and they've injected a local anesthesia. I never know how to pronounce these things. Always awkward when I want to pronounce this anesthesia. So they've put in this local anesthesia in my spine to numb the area. It was not painful. It was just a little pinch, and then you also feel the fluid going inside. But after a few seconds, you're numb, so you can't really feel anything. So that whole area is numb. And then they put the actual spinal for the operation, the one that numbs your whole body. No, not your whole body, half of your body. And then they've put that one in, but I could still feel it a little bit. It wasn't painful. It was just a dull, uncomfortable sensation that I was feeling. So she's putting the anesthesia in my spine after they've numbed the area, while someone else was putting a catalyst or I don't know what that's called, but was putting the catalyst or something that what the thing they put in your hand to fit in drip and whatever. So they were fixing it in here while they were also doing the thing on my back. So she was putting the spinal anesthesia in my spine, and she was doing it, and she was asking me where am I feeling it. So you're supposed to feel it in the center, not on the left or on the right. I was feeling it in the center, and then she keeps putting more and more, and she said asking me where do you feel it, because it's like a sensation of water going into your spine. So she kept asking me where I was feeling it, and I was feeling it in the center. She was like, yeah, that's good. So they've put that in me, and they asked me to lie down on the operation table immediately, because within a few minutes my leg went very heavy. So before my legs went heavy, they asked me to lie down on the operation table. So I lay down on the operation table, and then they put the little cloths from my waist down. But before then, they started spraying something that was so cold. Oh my god, it was so cold. So they sprayed it on my leg, and they asked me if I could feel it. I could feel it a little bit at the beginning, and then they sprayed it around this area, and I could feel it very cold. And then they kept spraying it until I couldn't feel anything from around my chest down, and that was fine. And when she was convinced that I couldn't feel anything from my chest down, they said go ahead to do the operation. So they put in a cover for my chest to cover from my chest down, so I couldn't see anything from my chest down. And they put in the catheter, so that is what will enable me pass urine. And they put that in. At this stage, I can't feel anything, so they were just telling me they're putting in the catheter now. I can't feel anything, so go ahead. And then I think they shaved the area, because they asked me not to shave, and then they shaved the area where they were going to cut. And although again I can't feel anything, so that I couldn't feel any pain, but I can feel a sensation of someone touching me. But it was just the sensation, but not the actual feeling of the touch. So pain was not there at all, but I could still feel a little bit of sensation. So if someone, like when they were shaving me, I could not even feel the blade on my skin or anything, but I can feel that someone was touching me, if that makes any sense. So yeah, so they did all that. They put in the catheter, and no one spoke to me from that end anymore. So I assumed they just started cutting into me. So yeah, so they cut into me, although I don't know what was happening because my husband was already in by this time and he was sitting on my head. And they cut into me, and I was feeling a little bit cold for some reason. In fact, I wasn't feeling a little bit cold, I was actually shivering. And she said it's normal, that is fine, that if shivering is normal, I'll be shaky a little bit, but that's fine. So I was shaky, and for a bit, and like 6-7 minutes later, I heard my baby cry, and they raised him up, and they showed him to me, and he was so cute. He had all the things coming out from his mouth and stuff. Oh God, and that was so beautiful. And then they put him on the scale, weighed him. It was big boy, 3.4 kg, 3.8 kg, and they cleaned him up a little bit, wrapped him up, and gave me to do skin to skin. But during that time I was doing skin to skin, and they were stitching me back. Then I was feeling a little bit hungover, like because obviously I can only see the ceiling because I was lying on my back. The ceiling was spinning round and round, and if I was standing I would have fucking fallen on the ground. I was spinning round and round, and I wasn't shaky anymore, but my eyes were just going round and round. And I told the nurse and the doctors that, my eyes are spinning, and it's a little bit better because I'm lying down, but my eye, the whole room is turning around. And she was like, check my blood pressure, and that my blood pressure is low, that's why. So they gave me more fluid to make my blood pressure come back to normal. So this is one of the things that they told me to tell them if I'm experiencing it during the operation. So between a few minutes afterwards, the spin started slowing down, and I started coming back. And they had to take my baby away from me. Apparently something happened, but they didn't tell me immediately. So they took him away, and later on they told me they have to take him to NICU because he was delivered via Csection. He has some fluid still left in his lungs that didn't come out. Normally, if you deliver via vagina, if you had a vaginal birth, if you had a vaginal delivery, because the baby is going to pass through the birth canal, that's going to squeeze everything from the baby's lungs, and all the mucus and everything is going to come out from the baby's lungs. But because it was via C-section, all those things didn't come out. And while I was doing skin to skin, he was actually struggling to breathe, and I didn't realize that. So he was turning blue or purple, it was turning into some color. So they noticed that, and then they took him away, and they had to try and take out all the mucus from his lungs, and they had to take him to NICU to monitor his breathing and make sure. He didn't really need to go to NICU, but they wanted to be 100% sure that he was breathing well and he was breathing on his own fine, and there was no more liquid and mucus in his lungs. So they took him away. Oh my god, that was so scary, because I was like, oh my god, please make him breathe. I was so scared. I don't even think about it, but yeah, that was scary. But I was so thankful, and I was so happy because they were so on it. Like, they were very vigilant, and they noticed immediately, and they took him out, and then they took out everything from his nursery, and then he stayed in NICU for a few hours. He was full term, perfectly healthy. It was just that they just wanted to be sure that after taking out the mucus, he's still able to breathe on his own. Oh, someone is waking up. So yeah, so they took him to NICU while they stitched me up. So this is after the C-section now. After stitching me up, they moved me to my bed, and and took me to an observation room for about 30-45 minutes, where they kept checking my blood pressure, my oxygen level, just doing all the checks that they needed to do to make sure that I was well after the operation. So at this time I still can't feel anything. Yeah. I still could feel anything. I could eat now. They said I can have water, so I had some water. I had some orange juice, and I think I had some biscuits as well. And then I was, after about 30-45 minutes, after my vitals were good, it looked good, after about 30-45 minutes, they told me, yeah, it's fine, and they wheeled me to the postnatal ward. So now I'm in the postnatal ward, and I think I just went to sleep immediately. I think I did. And afterwards, my husband was in the NICU with him while I was resting. And about 5-6 hours later, they took out my catheter, and they said, because the anesthesia was wearing off already, so I could move my legs. It wasn't 100% gone, but I could move my legs now. So they took out the catheter and said they gave me a bowl to measure my urine, to make sure that I could pass urine without any difficulty. So I think after 6-7 hours, I stood up. They made me stand up, and I started walking around. Not very fast, obviously, very slowly, but I started walking around. And they were very impressed with that, because most people don't start working that early. But around 6 hours, I was already walking around. I peed, I think, around 7 hours after the operation. I peed, and I peed well. In terms of my bleeding, I think I lost about 800 mils of blood, which they said is normal. So anything from 0 to 1,000 mil, anything from 0 to 1 liter is fine. It's normal bleeding. So I lost about 800 mil, which was okay. Obviously, I was still bleeding afterwards, but that's just during the operation. That's how much blood I lost, and I didn't need a blood transfusion. But I think if you lose way more than maybe a liter, if you lose way more than a liter, then you might need blood transfusion because you lost so much blood. But I lost only 800, so that was fine. And 6-7 hours later, I was walking around my room, and I was able to go to the I was going to go to toilet to pee, and then afterwards that night, I was beginning to feel the pain now, because the anesthesia was wearing off, and then they gave me oral morphine. That was so good because I couldn't feel anything again, and I felt like I was high. And then what else happened? So I went back to sleep, I think, and the worst part of everything, as far as I'm concerned, cutting me was not the worst part. The worst part of this whole thing was the night after the surgery, because now the anesthesia was wearing off, and my body started itching me. My body was itching the hell out of me, like, I was miserable. My whole body was, and the parts that were itching me were the parts that I could not reach. when I got dinner, when dinner was served with cutleries, knife, spoon, and fork, I actually used the spoon and knife and saved the fork to scratch my body. That's how bad it was. It was so itchy, and just imagine, the heating was on full blast. It was central heating, so I could not even change the control. I could not control it to increase or decrease the temperature. So it was so hot in there. Well, I think it was so hot. It was probably hotter than normal for me because I was itchy, but it was so hot. I was sweating and I was itching. Oh my god. I was so hot and I was so itchy, like I was miserable. That was the worst night of my life. And then the next day when I woke up, I couldn't really sleep because I was itchy. But the good thing is the baby was in NICU, so um, the baby was in NICU, so I could not. There was no baby to attend to, so that was good. So they took the baby in NICU or in nursery, I don't know. So the baby was there, and they were taking care of the baby while I was in the postnatal ward. So that was good, just so there was no baby to take care of. So the next day when I woke up, I felt a little bit better. The itching reduced a lot. It was still there a little bit, but it wasn't as bad. It was manageable. I think they gave me Puritan to help with the itching, but to be honest, I don't think that helped. I don't think it made any difference. But yeah, the next day I felt a lot better. I was taking painkillers, which they gave me paracetamol and ibuprofen. That's what they gave me. Although paracetamol doesn't work for me, and I told them that. But they said if I mix it with ibuprofen, that the two drugs together might be more powerful than just taking paracetamol. So I tried it. As far as I'm concerned, it didn't work for me, but I took it anyways. And then after that, I think I stayed in the hospital for 3 nights. I had the operation on Friday, so Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday night. I think I went back home on Monday. So yeah, so I stayed in the hospital for 3 nights. The second day was a lot better. Pain wise, I was taking the paracetamol and ibuprofen, but it wasn't really helping a lot. My husband wasn't allowed to stay, so he was going and coming, and they were so nice. Even past the visiting time, they still let him stay, so that was very good. I was very excited about that because I didn't want to be alone there. And then I think it was the next day that they brought the baby back to me at night, so the baby could be with me. And then they moved me from the room I was in, because I was in a room that had just 2 beds and the other bed wasn't occupied, so it was just me in the room. That was good. And then the next day they moved me to a room that was like with 3 or 4 beds and they were all occupied. So when they brought the baby back to me that night, I tried to make him go back to sleep. By the time I successfully made him go back to sleep, then another baby would start screaming. So I really could not sleep in the hospital. Hospital is the worst place for you to get rest. But yeah. So yeah, basically in terms of like the operation, the pain level was reducing every day. I think the first night when I started walking around, I took a shower. I felt a lot better. I took a shower, but I couldn't really reach my legs because of the pain. So the next day, I think it got better every day. Definitely. In terms of my healing, I think I healed very fast. I was in the hospital for 3 nights, like I said. On the day I was leaving, I think they changed my painkillers to Tramadol, which was a lot better than paracetamol and ibuprofen. So they changed my painkillers, so that was good. And I was taking a shower a lot better, so I could maneuver and reach my leg now. Not like normal, but I could still maneuver and do a little bit on the side and reach my leg and scrub my body well. So yeah, so every day was better. I think after a week, I was feeling a lot better. When I got home, I lived upstairs for 2 weeks. I didn't come downstairs apart from when my midwife came for home visits. But going up the stairs that first day I got back home, I was literally going up the stairs like a cat with my hands and legs because I couldn't go straight because obviously the incision, and I should not be climbing the stairs, but I had to be upstairs because that's where everything was. So I went on my hands and legs. It was funny, but yeah, when I got upstairs, then I just stayed upstairs, and my husband was off on paternity leave, so that was good because my mom couldn't make it because of the COVID and everything. So my husband was at home, so he was taking care of the baby and helping me get things and helping me move around. And after a week, I think I felt a lot better. Not still 100% healed. Even now, I'm not 100% healed, but I was a lot better. And then I think the second week, I was even more better. I think the second week, after the end of the second week, I felt a lot better. I was going up and down the stairs easier than I used to. Not perfectly, but easier. And I'm going to talk about my weight loss, how much I lost, and I'm going to show you guys pictures of what my belly looks like after I got home in my first week, and what my belly looked like in my second week. And I'm going to give you guys an update on what my belly looked like in 6 weeks, when I'm 6 weeks postpartum. And just give you guys updates on what I did, how I got my belly to look the way it looks, and how I got my belly to go down and stuff like that. So I'll give you guys in another video. So basically, this video was just about telling you guys my experience before, during, and after my C-section. And I hope I have helped someone out there who is a little bit anxious, or who is a little bit who is a little bit confused as to what to expect if they have to go through a C-section. It's not. In fact, I will want to do a C-section again if I want to have another baby. I prefer 100% to vaginal birth. I had no problems with my I was able to pee and poop normally, so there was nothing like a tear or whatever. Everything down there is fine. The only issue that I dealt with was just the pain of the incision. That's it. So just one thing to worry about. So that was good. Apart from the fact that my healing was a little bit slower than the vaginal birth, I would take that 100% over the vaginal birth. I don't know why, but I just like it. Well, I just prefer it. So in case you're a little bit anxious or scared, it's actually nothing to worry about. Majority of the time, it only takes about 5 to 10 minutes for the baby to come out, and all that. You're not feeling anything. You might feel a little bit of tugging here and there, like someone is doing laundry in your belly, but it's not painful. It's just a sensation. After the baby's out, stitch you back up, and you only have to worry about healing. And if you take things easy, you heal faster. So if you just relax, sleep, rest, you heal faster. In terms of my milk coming in, my colostrum came immediately. So after they wheeled me to the postnatal ward, I was able to start expressing colostrum for the baby to take to the NICU. So yeah, my milk came in immediately, and my colostrum came in immediately, and I think my milk came in 3 days after. My milk started coming in before I left the hospital, and I was in the hospital for 3 nights. So my milk came in about in the 3rd, 4th day. So that was good too. So I was able to pump up milk and stuff. So that was good. So basically it wasn't, my experience was not a bad experience at all. I would do this again and again and again if I have to. Although it doesn't mean I want to have a baby again and again and again. But I'm just saying, if I have to, I would do a C-section again. I would choose a C-section over a vaginal delivery. My doctor and the surgeon told me that I will, if I want to give birth again, I could give birth vaginally. I don't have to be a C-section, but I'm going to choose a C-section if I have to. Because my experience was very, very positive, very, very good. They took good care of me in the NHS. Kudos to them. They were very, very professional, very friendly, very helpful. And if you're anxious or scared about a C-section operation, don't be, especially if it's via the NHS. I don't really know about how if any of you are from the US, I'm not sure if it's the same procedure, because my sister is in the US, and she tells me it's a little bit different there from here. So when I tell how the things that I have to do here is a little bit different from there. So I don't really know how it works there, but in the NHS, this is just how it works for me. This is my experience, and it's 100% positive. Yeah, I couldn't fault them. I feel good. My baby feels good. I'm healing well. I have my midwife come visit me, I think every week, and then he went into every other week. And now I've been discharged from midwife service, and now my health visitor comes to visit me every other week. So there's always someone there to check on me and stuff. So my whole experience was very good, and there's nothing to worry about. Nothing to worry about. If you're experiencing anything like mine, it's 100% positive, and you shouldn't really worry about anything. There was no complication, there was no difficulty. In 2 weeks I was healed. Well, I was in 2 weeks I was healed enough to almost to not be bed bound and to almost go back to normal. I mean, you shouldn't stress yourself or overwork yourself until you get the go ahead and the clearance from your doctor after the 6 weeks appointment. But what I'm saying is, after the second week, I felt a lot better. I was able to move around a lot better. My incision is healed. I mean, if I press on it, it's healed. The only thing that I would say is around my incision is a little bit bruised, so I feel like the skin is a little bit bruised, which is normal. So many things were moved around inside you, and a human being was dragged out of your belly. So I expect it to be bruised. So the incision itself doesn't pain me anymore, but I still feel a little bit of a bruised pain on my belly, not anywhere close to the incision. So yeah, so that is my experience, guys. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask me, and I will give you an answer based on my experience. So yeah, guys, that's it guys for this video. I just wanted to share my experience, my C-section experience with you guys. So yes, that's it. That's the end of this video, guys, and I hope to see you in my next video. I'm going to be doing I'm going to be updating you guys on, like I said, my weight loss, my belly size, and just to update you guys on how I'm losing weight and what my belly looks like now. So stay tuned for that, and I'll catch you guys in my next video. Thanks guys for watching. Bye bye.